Fed up of flawed robes, driven to distraction and drowning with doom boxes? Tired of living in chaos? Welcome to Decluttering Untangled, how to declutter when you're overwhelmed, ADHD or autistic. I'm going to help you uncover the secrets to decluttering no matter what hurdles you face. You'll discover how to declutter, de-stress and transform your world. I'm Heather Tingle, reformed hoarder, neurodivergent declutter queen and your guide through the maze of mess. Let's get untangled. Hello Untanglers and welcome back to another episode of Decluttering Untangled with me, your host Heather Tingle. Now today, this is an unusual one because I've got a guest today who is the wonderful Lisa Newport. Hello Lisa.
Hello.
Lisa is a style catalyst. So she in my head, you kind of unlock people's ability to find out who they are and really dress through their clothes and accessories and all that kind of stuff, rather than just telling them what colour suit them or what dress to wear and that kind of stuff. Is that right?
That's exactly it. So it's very much, my work is very much about identity, liberation, self-expression. So it goes much deeper than, oh, you've got big boobs, wear a wrap dress, or you're a summer, you should wear pale blue. Brilliant. That is involved if it's relevant. Mm-hmm. But deep down, it's about expressing who you are on the inside and showing that on the outside. And really, because clothes are a visual language. Mm-hmm. And very much as well, the science behind it all is called enclothed cognition, which is about how the impact of clothes, how they can make you feel and behave differently and how people respond to that as well. So it's much deeper than that sort of, personal shopping stylist, wear a wrap dress because you're a pear-shaped kind of thing.
Yeah. I know that since I met you, so we met in about maybe just before March time, so we were both speaking at the same event. And I know that my style has changed in the last year as I've really grown into myself and who I am. And it has changed and I've worn things that I wouldn't have worn a year ago. And it's made me feel different. It's made me feel more powerful. It's made me feel more confident. It's made me feel more able to do things, which is really great. But the reason why I want to talk to you today is you're organising a clothes swish. Have I got that right?
Swish.
Okay. And one of the reasons why I also wanted to talk to you is because I heard you talk at a thing called Ideas Fest, and you were talking and you said something that really hit home with me, and it was all about when you were shopping for something for your home. Do you want to just tell everybody a little bit about that, because it really hit with me, and I'm sure a lot of people would appreciate it.
Absolutely. So the thing you're talking about are curtain poles. The finials at the end of curtain poles. So it's a story about how I lost myself and looking back, how I realised how much of my identity had eroded and sort of been washed away. So the story is with my ex-husband, we moved into a new build house and it was a complete blank magnolia box. There was nothing. There were no curtains, carpets, absolutely nothing. Obviously, if you know me, if you look at any of my stuff, you'll see I'm very colourful. I'm quite out there. So you've got to bear that in mind as I'm telling this story. But so I'm moving into a magnolia box, and we went to B&Q to get some curtain poles, and the end bits at the end of curtain poles are called finials, and there were these poles, just plain, sort of silvery curtain poles, but they got mix and match finials, and there were some plain ones and then there were some with glitter. And I always say that my heart started beating faster and my eyes lit up and I got really excited, and I turned to my husband and I said, "The glitter ones." And he turned to me and went, "They're a bit much." And I came home that day with the plain finials. And when I look back now, it was like there was such a tiny little thing, but it would have brought me so much joy at the time. But the fact that I let him override that it was a visceral desire. I really got excited for them.
Yeah.
And I let him override. And it's kind of like that when I look back at that now, it's kind of, I'd lost who I was over time. And it was all to do with, there were lots of reasons why when I pick it, but there were lots of
Yeah.
reasons why. I'd put a lot of weight on when I was pregnant with my son, and I'm still carrying that weight. He's 26 now,
Mm.
but it was kind of that changed how I felt about myself. I didn't like myself, and I didn't feel like myself anymore. And there were lots of reasons why, but that is kind of why I'm so passionate about what I do now and why I do what I do, because it's about compassion. It's not about fashion. It's about compassion and identity and that whole who you are at your core, and really not
Yeah.
forgetting that, not letting life get in the way so much that you forget who you are.
I think that's really important as well, because especially coming from the neurodivergent perspective, is we spend our whole lives masking who we are and trying not to draw attention to ourselves, because I know certainly from in my world, like, the bullies will get you. If you draw your attention to yourself, you're going to get bullied. So you minimize who you are, you minimize what you like, you minimize your style, and you just try and blend into the background and be as beige as you possibly can, because being out there is it makes yourself vulnerable.
Dangerous.
So yeah, it's dangerous. And to get now, I suppose, like, maybe I'm of that age now. I'm in my 40s, late 40s, and I'm thinking, it's too short for this. You've got to be who you are. And yeah, who's going to bully me now? Like, yeah, it isn't going to happen. So I can be who I want to be now. And obviously now, my daughter's massively into charity shops because she can get some real bargains, and I was thinking, actually, a clothes swish just sounds immense, like, as a way to let go of some old clothes that don't fit you anymore, that you don't love anymore, and try some new things. So do
All
you
the
want
new
to
things with
like
tags on that you've bought and never worn.
exactly, yes, exactly. First of all, what happens at a swish, and then how can people decide what to bring to one? Because you've definitely got parameters, haven't you, what you
Yeah.
can bring to one?
Yeah, so for my swishes, this is the 10th one that I've hosted over the last 9 years. And what the sort of the rules that I say to people, don't bring anything that you wouldn't be happy for a good friend, to give to a good friend. So we don't want anything with holes in, anything with bobbles, anything that's tatty. It's got to be something that's in decent nick. I also put a limit on how much people can bring. The first time I did it, I didn't put a limit on, and people were bringing all sorts
Like,
of
let's
rubbish.
just dump all our stuff on Lisa.
Yeah, they did, and there was so much to get rid of at the end, things you wouldn't even use as dusters, a lot of stuff. So
Yeah.
that's why we have this, but I also so the limit is one sort of supermarket shopping bag for life.
Right.
That's so you can bring that, you can empty that, and then you can fill it up and take another bag full away. So the other rule that we have, I always do a little talk, and I talk to people about style, personality. I talk about the 80-20 rule, where we only wear 20% of our wardrobes 80% of the
Yeah.
time. And I say to
So
people,
true.
if you think about it realistically, for every £100 you're spending, you're wasting £80 of it, because you're not, So we don't want people filling up the bag with stuff that they're going to take away and never wear. But it is a brilliant opportunity for people to experiment and to play and to try things that they might not necessarily want to pay money for, in case they don't like it. So it's finding that balance, really. But I always say to people, you've got to try it on while you're here. We don't have changing rooms or anything. I host mine in a church hall. So I always say to people, wear leggings and a vest top. So it's
So you
just,
can
you
try
can just
something
put
on over the
things
top.
on over the, you can just try things on. You're not having to strip off fully to try things on. And there's a real sense of community about it. That's kind of what the lovely thing is about it. I have lots of volunteers who help me run it, who've always been, my Swish squad have always been there for me. It's not something I can do on my own. They sort all the clothes out into sizes. So we've got a table of 10s, a table of 12s, and so on. So we do have a few rails, but most things it's a bit like a jumble sale, I suppose,
Yeah. Jumbo
because
sale back, but size.
everything gets on the tables and it soon gets messed. They put it all out lovely and neat, but it soon gets messed up. But the idea is that you can sort of try something on. If you like it, you can put it in your bag and keep it. We always say, don't take things for other people. Don't think, oh, my friend would like that, or my auntie, or my sister, or my daughter. Because obviously, unless they're there at the event, you've paid for the privilege to come. So I do charge a suggested donation for people to come, and that goes straight through Just Giving to my charity of
That's
choice.
going to the charity, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't actually take any money off anybody. And we always have a raffle as well, which people donate raffle prizes to. My friends in the business community donate raffle prizes to.
Hello, Untanglers. I just want to quickly interrupt this podcast to give you an amazing offer. As a thank you for listening to me, I want to offer you a big discount off one of my courses. It's perfect if you're at the start of decluttering, and that's my Getting Started and Zoning workshop. So if you're feeling a little bit lost, knowing where to start, you just need a little bit of guidance, this is for you. It's pre-recorded so you can watch it and re-watch it as many times as you like with lifetime access. If you enter the code podcast as the voucher code, you'll get £20 or $20 off the price, making it less than half price. Just go to courses.untangledbytingle.com and use the code podcast for your discount. Oh yes, there'll be a declutter planner heading their way.
Oh, fantastic. Brilliant. I'm sure that'll be very popular. But and it's just a really nice community event. We have tea and cakes. Everybody brings their stuff. The sorters are sorting it out. While they're doing that, we've got the kitchen open, and the ticket pricing includes tea, coffee and cakes, and they're all homemade and lovely. So everybody's having a chat while that's going on. And then, I do my little introduction, and then the swishing's open. And I always say no biting, no kicking, no shoving, no pushing. But it's just such a lovely event. And you can see from the photographs on my social media that there's a really nice vibe.
Yeah.
And it is that opportunity just to have a play and take things that you wouldn't normally wear. And then everything that's left over, I've got very good connections, very good relationship with Mind, the mental health charity shop.
Mind are amazing. Yeah.
I used to volunteer there years ago. When I first started my business, I used to dress the windows for them, but until I got too busy. But they're absolutely wonderful. So they come at the end of the event with the cars, and they just take everything that's left over and it goes to them. So it's win-win for everybody. I just can't see that there's a downside to swishing at all. And swish means to move. So you're moving things around.
Right,
and
brilliant.
You've got more space to swish about in your wardrobe.
I mean, it's a great alternative to fast fashion, isn't it? Rather than creating more stuff in landfill, rather than going out on a shopping spree, if you need that refresh, if you want to try something different, and you've got some clothes that just aren't right for you anymore.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And
doing it for charity as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it does seem like a win-win.
It does. The sad thing is, there's enough, the statistics I read, there's enough, we've got enough clothes on the planet already for the next 6 generations. And every time you're buying something new, you're adding to that. And especially, when you're buying from these companies where they're employing children to make things and they're not well made and all that, you just add into that problem.
Yeah.
In the environment, and it's just there isn't a downside to swishing as far as I can see. And it's just I started it because it's in memory of my mum. So I'm raising money in my mum's memory. When my mum was a shopaholic and she had so many clothes, she was diagnosed with a brain tumor. It was terminal, we knew, and it was kind of like her wardrobes were overwhelming her.
Yeah.
So she couldn't do anything herself. So she's just sat on the bed and I helped to do it. And she got all these she spent a lot of money on really nice clothes and beautiful jewellery. And it was just something I did. I've been running a free sort of style challenge through January with my community. And we all got together. We had like a little meet up in the pub, and they were like, we could do with swapping our clothes now, because now we know what fits us and what we like and what we don't like. So that was how it all came about. And it was so successful. I've raised over £15,000 in the last 9 years.
That's amazing.
Just from selling tickets to my swishes. So
if people were thinking at home, we're not near, is it Nottinghamshire where you're
we're
based?
Nottingham.
If we're not up north near me, or not even in the UK, because I know we've got a lot of listeners abroad, and they were thinking about doing it. So basically, practicalities are you need a space to do it in. You need some people to help you set up.
If you're doing it on a big scale, you can do it
on a big scale. Do it on a little scale. Like, ask maybe doing it for your local school, maybe ask to use their school hall, doing it that way, get some tables out. People buy a ticket to come. They can have X amount of items in a bag, for example, to bring. They then someone takes them and scatters them around in the hall, and then you can then take back X amount of. So however many items you bring is however many items you can take away.
I don't even do that. Even that in itself, it's not necessary. I didn't think that at the beginning. We had like ticket system, and it was like, you bought 5 things so you can have 5. But at the end of the day, who really cares? No, I've had one person once really abused the whole thing.
Yeah.
which was very disappointing. They came and said they'd be a helper and then filled up 2 bin bags of stuff before we'd even started. I saw them walking off, and that was really,
Yeah. I mean,
really
it's a charity
disappointing.
thing,
Yeah,
and
that was so disappointing.
the sense of community is lost if you get someone like that.
But on the whole, people are not greedy.
Yeah.
People want to have nice things. There's nobody sort of, it's just everybody coming together, and it's a really nice event. So it's not necessary to be, well, you brought that and that was from Primark, so you can only have things back for, there's no need to police it like that. It's just as easy to let people take what they want and know that they might enjoy wearing it.
Yeah. So what advice would you give to people who really love the item that they've just trying on, but they feel maybe a bit vulnerable? And how do they stop it from them just becoming clutter when they get home? Like doing it all over again.
I've always said to my clients, so we have this thing in my community, my clients, that we call the supermarket test.
Okay.
And essentially what it means, so say I don't know, say you like hats, say you've always fancied wearing a hat, but every time you put a hat on, you feel really self-conscious. So you put it on, you've bought yourself a hat, you've got yourself a hat from a Swish, you put it on and you're like,
You've been in my wardrobe, Lisa.
Yeah, and then it just goes back and you're like, oh no, I couldn't, or leather trousers or whatever the thing is. So the idea is that you're going out in public, it doesn't have to be a supermarket, but you put the thing on where you know that you're going out in public, but you're not going to be that long. So which is why the supermarket thing came about, because you're probably going to be an hour at the supermarket, yeah. So you go to the supermarket wearing the thing.
Okay.
And you're taking a check-in on how you physically feel, how comfortable you feel, how confident you feel. And my made-up word is confidence. So you sort of like, you're checking in on you're comfortable in terms of physical comfort, but how, mentally comfortable you feel as well.
I mean, if you think everybody's looking at you, then that's not comfortable, is it?
And then you sort of like, is everybody looking at me? You might be looking around and thinking, do you feel really self-conscious? So do you actually feel, and you might get compliments, because so the thing is as well, if you step out in wearing something, whenever you've had something that makes you feel good, you stand taller, you hold yourself differently, your shoulders go back, and you have an air of confidence about you. So it might be that thing gives you that little bit of a boost. And you might get compliments. And the thing is, you do it the first time and then you think, okay, how did that feel? You give yourself a check-in. Okay, it wasn't, it was okay. Nobody died. I'm going to do it again. And then the next time you do it for a bit longer. Yeah. And you do it for a bit longer. And before long, it just becomes part of, my name's Lisa and I wear scarves all the time. My name's Lisa and I wear hats all the time. My name's Lisa and I've got leather trousers and I love wearing them. Whatever it is.
Love it.
Become part of who you are and your identity. So it's about gradual baby steps. If you're wanting to make that change and you're feeling self-conscious, you do it in small steps. Now, the other thing as well that I'm really big on, if you check out my stuff on social media, you see me talking about funky divas all the time.
Yes.
Stepping into your funky diva energy. So what I do with clients, and I run workshops doing this as well, is you create an alter ego. So it might be that your alter ego, whatever their name is, they wear hats. Today, you're going to be that person going to the supermarket as. So it sort of detaches you a little bit from who you are, but also it could be the person so like Sasha Fierce, Beyonce has Fierce. You step into that persona.
That's really interesting you said that, because when at the last big festoon where we were at, I wore a jumpsuit, and I saw this jumpsuit, it was on Vinted and I really, really loved it. And amazingly, it actually fit me because I'm very short and it was meant to be cropped, but my style personality doesn't like cropped. I don't like cropped trousers because it makes me feel like I'm a toddler and I've grown too much. But it fitted me because, it was probably very long length on most normal people. And I went to it feeling that I was going to pretend to be a confident businesswoman, and that's what I was going to go and that's what I was going to wear. And I got that many compliments about, oh, I love your jumpsuit. And I was like, yes, I like this. And it's comfy. It feels good. There's no irritating tags. I can get in and out of it really quickly if I need a wee because it's got zip. I felt really comfortable in it. And now that's one of my favourite pieces, but I needed to kind of pretend to be somebody else to be able to wear it. Yeah, definitely. So that's really
good. The other thing as well, what's interesting there, Heather, is you listed a set of criteria just then. And that is something that I encourage everybody to do. If you have your set of criteria that you know works for you. So if you're looking at your wardrobe and you're assessing your wardrobe and you're auditing it in some way, the
Yeah.
stuff that gets left in, what is it about, your favourite things ever? What is it about those things that you really like? Is
Yeah.
it the fabric? Is it the fact that it's stretchy? Is it the fact that the length is perfect on? All these things, so that you have almost like a tick list. This is what I call, when I'm talking in my world, I call it a style recipe. So it's like your ingredients for your style recipe. So you know exactly what ingredients you have to make your style recipe the perfect fit for you in whatever situation that's going in. So for me, I know that as much as I adore high heel shoes, even low heel shoes, I can't walk in them. I don't feel safe in them standing up. So I've just got to admit that I wear wedges if I've got wedges, or I wear flat shoes.
Yeah.
So that's part of but I also like sparkle. So it's like, if I get flat, sparkly shoes, big tick, I know
That's
I'm going
it.
to wear them, and I'm going to wear them a lot.
I love it.
So it's understanding why you like what you like. And that is the key thing to this 80-20 sort of rule, because when you know why you like what you like, you can replicate it. And I'm a big believer in, if you buy something, so like your jumpsuit, I'd be like, okay, what brand is it? Have they got it in other colours? Have they got it in other patterns?
Lisa, don't. No.
I did.
End up with hundreds of them.
So one of my very favourite things to wear is, and you'll have seen me wearing it, a pink long length sequin jacket.
Yes.
No, I absolutely adore that. It's actually a dress. It was a wrap over dress. I knew I wouldn't wear it as a dress, so I unpicked the Prestons on it and whatever, and I wear it as a jacket. I absolutely adore it. So when they got it in black and silver as well, I bought it in black and silver. And there, it's like I've almost like created a uniform for myself. So it's dead easy, because then it takes the decision making away.
Yeah.
Because you're like, okay, what can I wear? Well, I've got 3 sequin jackets I absolutely adore. I don't need.
And that's the thing though, isn't it? It's about adoring what you've got. This is what I tell everybody. You use your emotions first, then your logic. So the emotions is, I absolutely adore this. And then the logic kicks in is, actually, is it comfortable? Do the seams irritate me? Is it the right length? Like, am I going to feel comfortable wearing it? Blah, blah, blah. So you use both, but really emotions the first one. And yeah, when I think of you, I think pink and sequins. They're the things that I think of you. I cannot do sequins. They absolutely irritate the life out of me.
Oh, that's it, you see. So this pink sequin jacket is sequins on velvet, so it's really soft.
Oh,
Because I don't like pure sequins. They
just
scratch
scratch.
around your armpits, and
Yeah.
they're horrible. They don't feel nice, and also they're not great for the environment. But I wear. The thing is, when I buy things,
You wear yours.
I keep it for so long. I've got I've got coats. I wore something the other week, and I was like, I'm sure I've had this about 6. It was top. And it's just a plain t-shirty top. I've had it about 16 years. I wore it. And it's like, so when I buy clothes, because I know my style recipe, I know what I like. So it's like a stick of rock through me. I know that once I've bought it, I will wear it. There's no.
That's it.
So it's kind of, I might go in phases where I don't wear it for ages, but then I'll start wearing it again with something different. But I absolutely know that once I buy something, I'm going to really get my wear out of it. So it's worth doing that investment in time and work, understanding all of these things, because it pays dividends in the long run, because you're not wasting money on clothes.
Absolutely.
I went a whole year without buying anything once.
So if you're going to give someone one piece of advice about how to make the most of having or hosting a Swish, what would it be?
If you are wanting to host a Swish, then my biggest piece of advice would be to recruit a team of helpers and get them to coordinate the different elements themselves, so you're not having to do all of it. You just be the person. But so I've got one of your colleagues actually in your world, Pauline. She's in charge. Pauline's in charge of sorting the clothes, and she has a list of so all her help, and I'm like, don't ask me, speak to Pauline. Pauline coordinates all of that. My other
So
friend,
you'd be like the linchpin while everybody else does all the little bits, and you're like the middle bit.
Absolutely. And then I've got somebody else who sorts the refreshments, somebody else who does the door, so it's kind of, I'm there, but I'm not responsible for any one thing. It's just like, I am the person.
You're there tying everything together.
Yeah. Because if everybody does a little bit, then it's not a great big job.
Yeah.
And the big thing as well is having all the clothes collected at the end that are left. That saves them. That's a massive job done, because they just come, everybody helps put stuff in bin bags, and then it's gone, and there's no messing about with it. These are all things I've learned over the years. I actually do have a PDF with all my, how I run a Swish and tips if anybody wants it.
Amazing. I'll put all your information in the show notes so we can go and find you.
Okay.
And what about if someone was going to a Swish for the first time? What would you, obviously the tip it would be to, wear something that you can put clothes on over the top to make sure it fits. So it doesn't end up just going straight to charity or languishing at the bottom of a wardrobe for 5 years. What tip would you give them?
Other tips are shoes that are easy to get on and off. So slip-on shoes are ideal if you've got slip-on shoes, because if you're trying things on, you don't want to be undoing and taking your shoes on and off all the time. Tape measure is handy, because even though what sizes are like, some things might not have sizes in, some things, unless you know the brand, even
brands can change, don't they? Yeah.
Take a tape measure, because then you can measure things. That would be another tip. Don't put your bag and your coat down. I have had one, somebody put the coat down and somebody else was like, next minute somebody's trying it on.
They maybe wear a bum bag or something.
Yeah. So they're things. What else is there? I've got like a list of tips and things.
I think that's a good one, to be honest.
They're the main things. Having like leggings and a t-shirt on that you can try things over the top, then you don't have to keep, nipping to the toilets or whatever, because most places don't have enough facilities for trying things on. That's the main thing, really. But also go with an open mind. Be prepared to try things on that you fancy wearing, but you might not have worn before, because it could be, like you with your jumpsuit. It could be the thing that opens up a whole new world for you.
Well, that's amazing. But Lisa Newport, thank you so much for today. Really appreciate you coming on. If anybody wants to find out a bit more about Lisa and Lisa's world and her funky divas, go and find her. She hangs around on Instagram. That's where I see her most of the time, doing funky things. So Lisa is Lisa Newport _fab, FAB, and I'll put her information in the show notes.
Thank you. Thanks
so I hope that has given you some things to think about. It definitely has me. I want to create a Swish now. So until next time, remember you're not alone. Be kind to yourself and keep untangling. Thanks for joining me for today's episode of Decluttering Untangled. If you found anything that I've said today helpful, please do me a favour. Hit that subscribe button or leave me a review. It's like receiving a virtual high five that keeps me going and lets me know that I'm helping real people out there and I'm making a difference. Please remember, you're not alone in this. I'm building a community of fellow untanglers over on Facebook. Just visit the show notes for the link to my free decluttering community. So until next time, remember, you're not alone, you're not lazy, you can untangle your life.